This is I'm Stark, and in this video we will be looking at the creation of East and West Germany. So first of all, we have to learn about the creation of Bizonia, and Bizonia was a merging of the British and American zones. So there was a large amount of German refugees who had been expelled from Poland and Czechoslovakia who were entering British and American zones. So along with the Soviet demand for reparation from these zones, this would have strained the economy of the area. So this meant that in May 1946, General Clay announced that no further reparations would be given to the Soviets until there was a plan for Germany's economic recovery. Now, the USSR saw this plan as a way to base the German economy on capitalism, obviously something that US and Britain would have wanted to happen. So in January 1947, the British and American zones in Germany and Berlin were merged together in the creation of Bizonia. And one of the things it did show is that the full power control of Germany had clearly failed. So these decisions were indicating that the majority of US policymakers opposed to a united Germany. Now this was because they believe that a reunified Germany may become too powerful. Germany may have become aligned with the USSR. The economy of West Germany would also be easier to manage than the whole of Germany, and American influence in Germany could be undermined if there was a whole united Germany. So they decided that the only thing would be a West and an East Germany. So this meant that many steps were taken which resulted in this division. And by 1947, the Moscow Council of Foreign Ministers broke up. The US had given West Germans control of coal production and their own economic recovery, and the Marshall Plan had been introduced. However, there were some US policymakers, such as George Kennan, who disagreed with a divided Germany, and this was because that he believed that the US were increasing their involvement in the future of West Germany, and a united Germany would be a lot easier to manage. However, eventually, the majority of US policymakers did not believe in this and believed that a reunified Germany would not work. So the Soviets immediately opposed Bizonia, and throughout the Moscow Conference, which was something that consisted of Britain, France, China, the US and the USSR, and was held in March and April in 1947, the Soviets demanded a new central administration to be created. This failed, however, and no major decisions on Germany were made. And this was because the West did not like anything which was centralized, and they feared that a centralized administration would lead to a Soviet takeover. So the next conference was held in London in November and December of 1947, and again this was a failure, and the USSR accused the West of denying its reparations from Western zones. So the West started to work hereby on a West German state which would be aligned to the West of Europe. So a big event that did happen was a new currency was then introduced in these zones between February and June in 1948. And this is where Britain and France, the US and the Benelux states met in London, and they decided to introduce this new currency. Now, this would ultimately result in more economic stability and a separate West German state. Now, they also believe West Germany should have its own formal constitution. And although France were reluctant to create this West German state, they did agree after pressure from the US and Britain. So after creating this West German state, the Westerners then drew up a plan which was approved in 1949, and this new state was called the Federal Republic in Germany. Now, the first leader of this state was Konrad Adenauer, and he was a committed anti-communist whose foreign policy was based around ensuring West German security and economic recovery. And he would eventually rule for 14 years, and he would not recognize the legal existence of the German Democratic Republic, GDR, or East Germany. So the West German state was also under control of an occupation statute, and this set up a high commission which gave both Britain and America the final say on any decisions. Now, initially the USSR had wanted to create this pro-Soviet unified Germany, but in March 1949 they understood that this may not work, and then they started their own constitution for a new East German state, and this was eventually created in March 1949. So this was based as a one-party state system with the SED as the main party. And the West criticised its lack of independency, but Wilhelm Pieck was named as the East German first president, and by October this East German state had been created. So thank you for watching this video. I'll see you soon. Bye.